My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And it's time for everyone's favorite episode. What we're watching, what we watched in March. That's right, we're doing our What We're Watching episode that we do every month where we tell you what we watched in March and what we think you might want to check out. Jessie's not with us tonight. She is working. So it's just the three of us, but we'll do our best. Who would like to go first with telling us something that they've been watching?
I'm watching Wonderful World. I know this is a really big shocker to anybody who knows me.
Pikachu face.
I want to be clear about who stars in Wonderful World.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I say this as a very big fan of Chanu. So, who stars in it is Kim Namju. It centers around Kim Namju's character named Eun So-hyun, and her husband, and a tragedy that befalls their family when this all happens in the first episode. Her son dies. Her young son, around 6-ish, gets out of their yard, kind of gets lost for a little bit, and then he passes. That is not a mystery. None of that's a mystery. Well, I mean, aspects of it. But anyway, so things happen. And yes, Chanu does star in it too, but I just want to be very clear. He is third level main character. Okay? So, like, I'm not saying he doesn't have a sizable role. He does. But I want people to give Kim Namju the flowers that she deserves for what she's doing in this drama, because she's amazing. And you even see, you see a little bit of her character, her happy existence before her tragedy, and then after that, how she acts after, and then the things she goes through after that. So, like, it's very sad, but, like, and so then you kind of get vibes that, oh, maybe it's going to kind of be eventually this journey of healing, but it's not going to be easily won. Let's put it that way. And Chanu's character is very mysterious. And so, like, even when if you go watch any of the promotions they do, when they're discussing his character, it's like, yeah, like, he works in a junkyard, and he obviously is kind of sneaky about some stuff, and that's all you kind of know. And the husband character is like a very famous news anchor. So that's a thing. A very famous news anchor that kind of early in the show was about to uncover some corrupt politicians. And so he lost his job, and he's got his success back later on, but you're kind of on the radar of corrupt politicians at that point, so you know where this is headed. This is not hard to extrapolate from there. But I really want to say, like, it's very, very well done. This, at the moment we are recording, well, I guess I did not check today or the past few days, but for the US of A, it is not anywhere legal to stream. Now, the thing is, it is on Disney Plus for Canada, and, like, anywhere else. It might, word is on the street, eventually in April, it will come to the US, probably on Hulu. The Hulu Disney Plus thing is it's all whatever.
It's a thing.
Thing is, if you have a VPN, you can kind of, like, be like, hey, Disney, I'm in Canada. Sure I am. But that's like, okay.
Don't worry your little head about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So, but I want to say that it's not like there are funny moments, but there is lightness to this show as well. It is not always just dark. I will say her character even goes to prison for some time, and women's prison, like, you always have some characters in there, and then because it's women, so of course you get friends. That's the way women's prison works in shows. You have some older lady that you look up to, like a mom figure. That's just the way it always goes in the women's prison, the mom's prisons. That's really funny. The women's prisons in K-dramas, but it's really, really good. So, Unu's side of things, he's doing a great job. I can't say much about that as far as honestly, so like I'm 6 episodes in, 8 episodes in, whatever. The mystery continues on a lot of things. A lot of things do get revealed about other stuff that I can't tell you about. But it's one of those shows that it's fun in the unfolding. It's not just like, oh, we figured out this thing. It's more like, we've mostly figured something out. But like, it's always like, why did this happen? Who... It's like, it's maybe obvious that this is the person that maybe did the thing, but who... There had to be someone above that, like, caused all the shenanigans. Or, why was this person covering this thing up? Stuff like that. So nothing's ever as simple as it seems. But also, it's just really sweet, because, like, the lead character, you know, her mom is always just super supportive of her through everything. And then she has a friend, like, a younger friend who, at the beginning of the show, is her assistant. Because she's like, a professor and an author and stuff. She works as her assistant, but come to find out, they were childhood friends, and kind of got, like, somewhat adopted by the lead character's mom. So, like, kind of her sister, but not really. And it's not, like, got adopted officially. It was, so I'm not being weird about that. It's, like, but, like, your mom's my mom. That's just that kind of vibe. So, they're just really sweet moments, like, family side of just support through a lot of tragedy and stuff. And a lot of it, I don't know, it's just really, really well done. And you definitely, you know, see grief and stuff. So, like, lots of trigger warnings for obvious things if you cannot handle child endangerment, death, stuff like that. So, but yeah, it is really cool so far. I'm having a really good time with it.
That's good.
So, I wish I could say more, because there's, like, stuff to say, but... I like keeping things mysterious, like his character that I still really... It's like, oh, he's doing things. Okay.
Maybe, you know what?
To be clear, he's doing a great job. He does have a fair amount of screen time. It's
not
because
his
I'm
story.
on... It's because I'm in Stan Twitter, and I'm like, guys, I know he's doing magnificent, and I do want him to get his flowers for that. But it is her character's story. Like, it is very clearly her character's story. And, to clarify, I guess, there are people that aren't aware of this. It's not going to be a romantic thing between his character and that's not going to be...
That's not the story.
People had concerns about Noonas romance, which, like, I would be like, okay, like,
No,
doesn't bother me.
Listen. Listen, I'm going to say, I know that it's not, but I'd be okay with that pairing.
But I think it's going to be more of a growth and healing type thing is the general vibe. And maybe, you know, forgiving yourself probably is kind of going to be a main thing. But so far it's really well written, and I really do enjoy it. But it's, you know, it's for a very specific mindset or type of person that's looking for that genre of thing, because I know that that's not something that, you know, it's not, ooh, fluffy rom-com to not think about. So, like, it's, you know, it is heavier. But the twists and turns are more twisty and turny than I was expecting, and I really am enjoying that. So
cool.
Very cool. So, Natalia here, and I have been enjoying immensely a C-drama that, when I saw the synopsis of it, I said, yep, this one's made for me. And I was not incorrect upon watching it. And it's the new drama, Everyone Loves Me, which I watched on Youku, but now is loading on Viki. So I've already finished it, but it's not finished loading on Viki yet. So, like, but it will be, like, probably next week, because it's 24 episodes and they're at episode 19. So I'm sure it'll be finished soon. So the basic plot, this is like a classic rom-com setup for the modern age, and delightful. So you have this plucky girl who's an artist, and she's just graduating, like, she's in her last year of university, but she already has a job, like, illustrating at a game company where she illustrates for an Otome game. And she also, like, posts stuff online because, like, she really loves gaming, but she doesn't love Otome gaming. She loves, like, FPS shooters, like,
nice.
She loves, like, League of Legends, that sort of stuff. And her dream is she wants to, like, illustrate character design for one of those types of games, right? And she has like a little gaming crew of these fellas that they've never met in real life, but they all game together and like they chat about their lives with one another. So she tells them like that she has a crush on this guy at school who's like the hottest guy on campus. And one of them, her closest friend in the group, starts giving her the shittiest advice on how to hit on this guy. You then very quickly find...
So, is it shitty advice on purpose?
Let me get there.
Okay.
So you then very quickly find out that he's giving her shitty advice because he's had a crush on her for years, even though they've never met. But you also then find out that he's the guy that she has a crush on at school, but neither of them realize that they're each other. So, and he's a computer programmer who also just got hired to create a fighting game at this company where she works. And so on the day of their graduation, she finally goes and confesses. And she's been like using this guy's tips that have not been working because he's been giving her shitty tips, right? And so he like brutally shuts her down. Like, he's like, I'm not interested in you. I'm never going to be interested in you. I'm sorry. Like, no. And then, of course, they have to work together the next day when he walks into the company. But then, that night while they're gaming, she's very upset, and she's telling all of her online friends in their guild, like, oh, he was so mean. Like, I hope he dies. Like, and they're like, oh, who is this guy? Like, we'll get a crew together. Like, we'll go beat him up for you. Like, how dare he be so mean to you? And so, and this egging on being led by the main dude, right? Like, yeah, who is he? And she finally goes, oh, you should go for, what's his name? She's like, I need you to go to this university and look up Guzun. Like, he's the guy. And then you just see him, like, because the rest of the crew is his roommates. And then when so immediately realizes, I fucked up. Like, I have fumbled a bag so enormous that I didn't realize what I was doing. So then then you go into him trying to now win her back after brutally rejecting her because he was in love with her in the game. Anyway, yeah. It is, but also then they gotta make a game, right? So it's like there's a lot going on. It was very cute. It was very fun. And it's one of those shows, like a good C-drama rom-com, where you know where it starts and you immediately know where you're ending, right? So you can just enjoy the meanders. But I do love a guy having to win affection back after fucking up. That's a fun story. And like the chef's kiss of his fuckery. Like, and she's mean after that. Like, she's like, I'll be civil
Good
to you.
On her.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna be civil to you at work, but that's it. And then he's like, oh, but they're also, of course, they're neighbors. They live across the hall from each other, and shenanigans continue. And then you find out, oh no, their moms were classmates and know each other and have been.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's everything you want in a rom-com. Okay, it's so good. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Enjoyed it.
I also love the concept of, like, the friends immediately knowing how much he messed up.
No, because they all look like he
That's
was
so funny to me.
Like, the scene where it's revealed, he's sitting with his friends in their dorm room. They were all gaming together. It's like the rest of the crew is like his roommates and then his cousin. And so, like, his cousin is just, like, kind of older than them and, like, owns, like, a PC cafe. But, like, you have him, like, all in the dorm room gaming, and then it just, like, they'll have, like, scenes where they're themselves, but, like, in the game, like, you know, how they do sometimes, where it's, like, you're dressed up in, like, you know, fighting gear, carrying guns, right? But you're, like, in the game. And it just shows him, like, dropping the gun in the game and being like, and then it, like, goes back out of the game, and all his roommates are like, oh, Like, oh shit. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll go find him. We'll go find him and beat him up. Don't worry. We'll take care of him for you. Like, it's A+. The two lead actors, Lin Yi and Zhu Ye, were so good. Like, there was... Anyway, golden retriever simp. Love
it.
Listen, he only has his heart on one woman, but he just didn't realize who the woman was. But like, it's goofy. Then of course you have like the little, like, you know, you make friends, right? You got to make friends along the way. So it's like his second in command at the game company and the assistant who's awkward in person but has a deep outside of work life. She's delightful. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Of course, you have like your rival. For some reason, they've pitted the Otome department against the FPS department for some reason. I'm like, you wouldn't have these two departments at your game company be vying for the same resources. That's a different... But anyway, that's my only criticism of this show.
That doesn't
my only criticism of this show is that for some reason the Otome department, who is run by a man with no love in his heart, which I think is very funny.
Weird.
Like, run by the sternest man you've ever seen, where he's like, no, we're going to be putting out, oh, I really like this new, like, can you draw it more shirtless? Like, that's what the ladies like at the Otome game. Like, it's goofy, it's fun. I really enjoyed it. I do recommend, and you can watch it on Viki, so.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So, Amanda, what is something you've been watching?
Well, continuing in my anime era, I'm almost finished. It's the last episode, I think, is this weekend, of this season anyway. The Apothecary Diaries.
Ooh.
It started last fall, I think, or 2 falls. I don't know. Anyway, it's in season 2, and season 2 is almost done. I started it 2 weeks ago, so I've watched 2 seasons in 2 weeks. It's very good. It's very, very enjoyable. It's very, it's interesting because I had it recommended to me as a cozy, like a cozy anime. Mm. And it is, but the themes are not always cozy. So it's set in the past. This girl, the main character, Mamo, is the adopted daughter of a eunuch, a former palace eunuch, who was kicked out in disgrace, and now he works as an apothecary sort of physician for the pleasure district, basically making sure that the brothels don't fall to syphilis and stuff, right? Like, that's his job. So she's been raised around brothels and all that entails. So there's a lot of sort of sadness and things around that at the time, right? But everything's still cozy and cute. So the first episode, she gets kidnapped and sold to the palace. So this is really common. Often families will sell somebody to the palace because then the family gets like half the wages kind of thing, and it helps the family back home and whatever. Well, she got kidnapped but sold as if they were her family. So her kidnappers get half her paycheck.
Oh, okay.
And so she's like, well, that's crap. And she knows that if they find out that she can read and write, she'll get more money. But she is petty, and she doesn't want her kidnappers to get more money.
Good.
So she's like, I ain't telling nobody nothing. I'm going to do my 2 years in the laundry and then get out of here. And that's it, right? But 2 of the emperor's concubines have both recently given birth, and both of the babies are dying. And 3 babies have died previously. And she is like, I have so much training in medicine, poisons, like all this stuff. Maybe I could figure this out, right? And once in a while in the brothels, ladies have babies, and so she's seen stuff, right? So she's like, maybe. So she sort of sneaks into that part of the back palace, and as soon as she sees the two mums who are fighting, because harem, and that's how they roll, right? As soon as she sees them, she knows what it is, and she's like, but if I tell them, they're going to know, then they're going to promote me, and then my kidnappers are going to make more money. But I don't want the babies to die. So, what do I do? So she leaves them.
Quite the conundrum. Yeah, this is just the typical philosophy or ethics conundrum.
Right? So she leaves them, notes, anonymous notes where they can find them. And one mother takes that advice, and her baby lives. And the other mother does not, and her baby dies. And there is this very handsome purple-haired eunuch who,
of course,
works in the back palace. Very, very, very handsome.
Yes, purple hair, main character syndrome.
He
there you go.
Sparkles when people look at him. He's so beautiful that people can't, except for her. So she draws his attention because she's the only person who doesn't every time he looks at them. She cringes and goes, "Whoa!" He's looking at me like that again. Whoa! And he's like,
"Ooh." No woman has ever treated me this way before.
Joke's on you. I love that shit.
But yeah, so he goes to the mom whose baby survived, and it's like, what happened? How come your baby lived? And she goes, I got this note. And I tried to tell the other mom. I tried, but you know how much she hates me. She thought I was, being a jerk or whatever, right? So he does some skullduggery and eventually finds out that it's her. And he's like, why didn't you? And she's like, this. And they go, and the concubine says, well, I want you to come. I'm going to promote you to be a lady in waiting. And basically, they make her, because she has all this knowledge of poisons and stuff, they make her the food taster. And she's like, really? I get to eat food?
Well. Say less.
And yummy food. And they're like, but it might be poison. She's like, even better. Do you know how that tingles on the tongue?
She sounds very unique.
Yes. She is so funny. She's so wild. And and she really does. She loves poisons. She has made herself immune to many poisons in small quantities anyway, over the years. So she doesn't have that fear that a lot of the taste testers have either, because she's like, I'll just, I keep some Ipecac in my pocket and I'll just puke it up. I'll know it as soon as I taste it because I've tasted everything. So, so, and with the whole thing with the kidnappers, this is all the first episode. She goes, the head of household is like, okay, so this is going to be the new amount of money that you get and everything. And she's like, yeah, I don't need a pay raise. And they're like, you have to. And she's like, listen, my family's not getting squat. My dad lives in squalor and he's not seeing a penny of it because I was kidnapped. And the lady's like, what? That's terrible. And she's like, I have this very expensive vase and I need you to carry it across the room. And she hands it to her and drops it as soon as she tries to grab it. This vase smashes and the girl's like, what are you doing? And she's like, that was a very expensive vase and you cannot afford to pay for it. We will charge your family for that vase and take it out of your wages, the part that we would send them. And she's like, well, all right then. So.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. So every episode there's different stories. There's poisonings. There's postpartum depression. There is stories about syphilis and what it can do to people if untreated. And so there's a lot of sort of heavy themes and stuff. But it's at its heart, it's like a cozy mystery drama set in the past. And she solves all these mysteries and they keep coming to her for help because she's so smart and she's so bright and she knows so many things. And they're like, it's very, it's just really good. It's a really good mystery. It's very funny at times, but also very sort of sad at times. I mean, the one concubine who lost her son goes through a whole season of depression and sickness, because it's sad to lose your baby, and it's even worse when you find out that you could have stopped it and you didn't do it, because you didn't believe it. You thought it was a joke or whatever. And so, yeah. And then, of course, there's the, like, court politics of, you know, the way there always is when you're watching, like, a Saguk or something. Yeah. So there's all kinds of stuff that's going on. And, of course, there's a secret about the, you know, handsome young man. And, you know, there's, like...
Shocking. He had purple hair and he sparkled.
A handsome young man with a secret in an anime? Say it isn't so.
What? No.
I've heard it's very, very popular. Is it on Crunchyroll?
Yeah, it is. So, yeah. And like I said, like, there's like 24 episodes, and I think the 24th episode comes out this weekend coming for me, and this weekend past for you listening. But it's yeah, I hope that there are more seasons to come, because I'm really enjoying it. It's very, very,
considering
very
how popular
enjoyable.
it is, I would think so. Like, I've heard a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah. So, what else have you been watching, Sky?
So I've been watching Branding in Seongsu. It's spelled Seongsu. It is on Viki, so I'll preface it is over there. It is a body swapping drama, so I was going to be picking it up anyway. And the gal lead, she is a chick from the drama The Veil. I really liked her in The Veil. She was like a hacker IT type spy there. And her character was really sweet on that show. So I was like, I really enjoyed how she acted. So I was looking forward to this one. I am not familiar with the lead guy. He has his name is Lomon, Lomon, like all one word.
Yeah, he was in All of Us Are Dead. He's quite good. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's kind of cute about, like, even how they set up the title sequence, so kind of like Semantic Error, these characters are color-coded a little bit. Yeah. So she is coded like hot pink, kind of. And even in the title sequence, like, everything's kind of hot pink and lime green. Like, those are kind of your two colors. And so he's lime green. And even in the title sequence, you kind of see, like, she's a snappy dresser. Also, and he is, and you can tell by the way they've made his little, like, very plain avatar thing. He has a, you know, those Korean protest, headbands that they put on all the time. So, like, he's obviously, like, activist type guy. So, come to find out, you are looking at a marketing executive gal, who, of course, is, like, you know, pretty cutthroat in order to get to where she's been. And she, you know, very snappy dresser. And then you have him, who is not a snappy dresser, you know, wears the same weird, like, safari vest situation for, like, every occasion. And he is all about vegan, cruelty-free, like, all about activism with that. And then he goes and does protests for, like, save this factory and all these things. So, like, he works as an intern at the marketing company thing. So machinations happen. It is, I don't remember how many episodes. It's a good, like, 5 or 6 episodes in before we body swap. Like, it was a time. Stuff happens. Like, I will say, so I guess, trigger warning, there is a whole thing about, the marketing company is going to do a campaign for this cosmetics brand. Of course, the intern is like, are they cruelty-free? And they say they are, but they've kind of had some scandal in the past. And so he goes and he checks out the factory with permission. And they hide everything from him, but then he goes like, because he left his phone by accident, he goes after hours and he does find a lot of rabbits. Now, to be clear, it is very obvious that these rabbits are not for real harm. They say it like before the episode. So the rabbits are fine in real life. I want to preface to everybody, the rabbits are fine. So that's that. So like, but if you really can't even have that being discussed, like that is a thing that gets discussed. But what's kind of also cool about this is as far as I've gotten to like episode 10 now, I think. It has 24 episodes. And each little arc they have of like marketing some campaign thing, that's kind of the arcs that they have. One of them had to do with drag queens. So that was a thing. The second another marketing arc that I'm currently watching is pertains to sex toys.
Ooh.
So like we're pushing the envelope a little bit with as far as topics that were being discussed. And so like I think that's really refreshing. I think that's nice to be, and none of this is done like in the drag queen stuff. I thought was handled pretty well. Like I didn't,
Yeah.
it all seemed good. So I find that fascinating. So anyway, back to the main plot, and I can't tell you like as far as the details of like why and how and whatever, but what I do want to say is they do swap bodies at some point. There was a thunderstorm. The moment the thunderstorm started happening, I was like, oh,
here
time
we go.
to swap the
Here
bodies.
we go.
So I was like, oh, and did we kiss? We kissed. So then like, of course, so, but I want to say, he being in her body, he's the only one that's, her body's in a coma for like probably a month or two. So like, he wakes up in her body and he's like, no, sorry, I got it backwards. She is in his body.
Okay.
And that's it. She's the only one aware of anything. So she has to go like back to work and try to figure out what happened to make her be in a coma and all these things. So it's very, very funny. Of course, he used to dress kind of bedraggled. She's like, oh, we're having 3-piece suits. And it is so fun watching this puppy dog type character be now super professional and of course like super serious. And then you get a lot of episodes of just that. They are not like, so you don't have them together for a long time. So that actor acting as her for quite some time until, of course, she wakes up, he wakes up in her body, and it's pretty funny watching. She used to be very put together and professional. She is an absolute disaster. Like as far so, and this all happens. He walks into the busy like company. Like everyone is standing there, and he hasn't figured out the whole like. So he's staring at his body like in front of him, and he's like freaking out, and they're like, "Oh no!" Like so no one. It was really, really funny.
I love a good body swap. I love it.
Well, and so then so the reason I'm trying to explain this, the power dynamic is cracking. It's reverse of Secret Garden. That's why it's so funny to me. So you have the older executive woman being in the male. So like he keeps saying stuff like, "Oh, don't you want your body back?" And she goes, "Not really. Like I could probably get back to my executive position with a male body a lot faster. I don't really care." And so and he doesn't really care being in her body that much, because like, wow, your apartment's real nice. Like he's happy. He doesn't really care. But I do appreciate all of a sudden a period happens. So like he's like, my stomach hurts, and they're actually shopping for food, and looks, and what date is it? Says the date. That's what that is.
Well, you're about to have a real.
She hands him some pads and is like, and he's slow, so he takes a little bit to click like what this is about. He goes, no, I don't want to, and she's like,
sorry.
It's like, You know, my guy, you're about to get a real deep
You and me both,
understanding
sir.
towards the inner life of women. I feel like you're probably going to appreciate women from now on. You know, enjoy that.
And it wasn't just like a one-off like moment. Like they keep bringing it up because he keeps being like, "I don't feel good." She's like, "Yep, that's the way that be. Did you take your pills?" "Yeah, I took 2. Yep, that's what you got to deal with." I'm just like, I appreciate that because that's the type of thing when you are watching a cross-gender body swap thing, you're like, that is a thing that you want.
Yeah.
Like a dude should be commenting on. Like, this sucks. It's like, this is really bad. So, I appreciate how it's pushing the envelope so far. I'm not gonna say it's like this flawless, deep drama, but like it's really, so far it's pretty enjoyable. And I do like how it's color coded. So, now that we finally have both characters together again, body swapped, his body is wearing like pink pants because it's her. And so her body's wearing like a green like sweater because it's him. So like they're trying to keep that coordination going. And
Cosmo
I just appreciate
Wanda
a theme
situation.
with that.
Nice.
Yeah. I really don't care all that much about like marketing this, branding that. Like, okay, it's lovely, whatever. I don't really care. But like, it's nice that with the marketing stuff, they are actually like kind of bringing up like minority groups and stuff, and not so far. Now, as far as I think the drama just finished recently, or it will soon. So, if it crosses some boundary in coming up, I don't know yet. I haven't gotten to that point, so don't come at me. But so far, it's kind of cute. I think it's pretty funny. I think it's fun to check out body swap drama, but the comedy of watching people have to act like the other person, like that's what gets me every time. So, and the shock. Usually, it's that episode of them trying to like, oh no, like that just cracks me up.
That sounds fun.
So, Natalia, how about you?
So I finally got around to watching the 2024 KBL Love for Love's Sake on Aichi. I say finally as though it's been months. It ended in February. Like it hasn't really been that long.
2024.
Well, that's a ways for Natalia to not be up on a recently finished drama.
It was like boy, am I glad I did. I watched it in a single day, which that sounds more impressive than it is, but it was 8 half-an-hour episodes. That's only like 4 hours out of your day. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic. A little bit of, before I get into the drama, I will have it known that the actors still have not been paid because the casting director absconded with their money. So it's a little Noonas side note. So the production did pay them, but the person who was supposed to deliver the money embezzled it and took off. So hopefully that gets resolved soon. But that aside, this drama is excellent. You follow...
Crazy that the casting director would have access to the money.
Well, he was the one who was supposed to send it out.
Oh, the connection to them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anywho, so we are following a fella named Tae Myung-ha, who at the beginning is at a bar reading his college friend's novel and giving feedback. And he's like, listen, your novel's fucking fine, but why do you make this one guy's life so miserable? It's bullshit. This guy just, his life sucks, and at the end of the day he gets nothing. And his friend's like, oh, like that sometimes people's lives just suck. And he's like, this getting drunker and drunker as he drinks at the bar and reads this, be like, oh, this is bullshit, blah blah blah. So then he passes out, but then wakes up no longer 29. He's now 19 and back in high school, and he is now in a sort of game where he can see like a little HUD pops up that's like, you're entering the love supremacy zone. Your goal is to make Cha Yun-woon happy in a year. You have 365 days to make him happy. And it progresses from there, where he goes out of his way to try to make this miserable high school student his life happy, and oh no, romance do be happening. I don't want to say more than that, because I feel like with 8 half-an-hour episodes, there's only so much I can say
Right.
without giving away anything. But I do want to say the casting on this is absolutely fantastic. And it does have a little, like, I was very moved by it. Had a very moving second half that you're really not expecting from the premise of the story. I thought it was quite good. It is based on a webtoon. Shocking. A KBL based on a webtoon. Say it ain't so. That's never happened. But I would really love to see more of these. Like, I did. It could have been longer. Like, this show could have gone on. This could have been a full length 12 episode show. Like, if they wanted it to be. It's just so good. Like, he then gets to, you know, he's not a character. Like, he is himself, as though he's in an alternate timeline. So it's like he's living the life that he had, but now these other characters are there as though they've always been there. It's really interesting. So it's like, it's, you know, trying to heal this other person, but also trying to make up for things that happened in his life as well. Making some friends along the way. It's quite nice. I really did enjoy it. It's another one I gave a 9 out of 10, which is like real high for me.
Yeah.
So I really think it's on iQIYI. It's fantastic, and I think everyone should watch it.
And what was it called again?
It's called Love for Love's Sake.
Love for Love's Sake.
It's a quick little watch, but very excellent, and I think that it's absolutely fantastic, and everyone should check it out. A+. Go
A+.
Shut up the list. So yeah. So Amanda, what else have you been watching?
I started a C-drama rom-com it's from 2022, called Since I Met You. It's like 16 episodes long, and I'm about halfway through. It's very, very cute. Starts out like college graduation, and our female lead is going to confess to the class president, who she's been very, very close to, had a crush on. She's going to finally confess. She's got a rose and a love letter. He is moving to America with some other girl from their class. And it's like everybody in the class is like, what the heck? We thought the two of you spent all your time together. Like, when did he even have the time to date this woman? Like, okay, she grabs, 2 bottles of wine off the table at the party and good. Fine. I'm fine. It will be great. Later that night, drunk out of her mind, she goes up to this, like, it's a beachside resort or something, and she's off at this sort of cliff, and she sees who she thinks is the class president.
Classic.
And she drunkenly confesses, but then also says, like, I'm super happy for you to follow your dreams and to be happy, and I want that for you. I want you to have a good life, and, that kind of thing. And then she kisses him and passes out.
Classic.
Now, the guy who is standing there was there because he was going to kill himself.
Oh.
And now he has to, like, get this chick back. He can't just leave her there, passed out, and, he takes her back to the hotel, makes sure she has water, like, she's okay. He reads the love letter, and her words give him hope that he can keep moving, that things could get better, that, if she can be this distraught and have had this big of feelings in her heart and still want to do life, I can do life too. He leaves her this necklace and takes the rose. A year later, she's a food blogger. She works for this sort of, does side jobs for this advertising company kind of thing. They'll say, like, hey, can you get a good word out for this bakery or that, whatever. And she goes into this bakery, and they've got this dessert called Ms. Moon, and it's like rose water and strawberries, and she loves this thing. And she wants to talk to the chef and interview and see what the
rose water.
No.
So he comes out and is like, sits and, like, so you want to interview me? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, do you know who I am? And she's like, we've never met before. And he's like, I don't interview people I don't know, or whatever. So he leaves, right? And I mean, it's like an episode, maybe an episode of him kind of being a jerk about like giving her an interview. And then he does give her an interview and he tells her this story, and it doesn't jog any memories for her at all. But she's like, that is a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing it with me. Is it okay if I share this with, my readers and stuff? Like, yeah, sure. That's what I'm doing, right? That's the point. Gets lots of attention. The advertising company is actually run by his older sister. And she said, we need to like keep this momentum going. People want to know more about the story. So can the two of you go off? He can show you where this happened and all this stuff. And like, you can take some pictures and sort of finish up the blog with a, wrap it up kind of thing. And he takes her out there with this and gives her this rose and says, like, not obviously the same rose, like he gives her a rose. And
we assume that rose is long dead.
No, yes. Actually, it's not. He has it preserved like Beauty and the Beast style,
in a little
like glass dome.
Of course in his he does.
It's very cute. But yeah, he takes her out to this cliff and he basically tells her the story again. She goes, yeah, and he goes, it was you. Like, she's starting to like, hey, I was here a year ago, like she's starting to kind of like, wow, that's what a coincidence, and he's like, it was you, and she's like, I kissed you? Sorry, dude. Like, that was way out of line. But, oops. Like, okay. And she's like, thank you for sharing that story with me. Like, that is really touching. It's really moving. And I'm like, it's really nice. Is it? And again, consent. This is your story, though. Is it okay if I share that? And he says, it's your story, too. So you can share what you think's appropriate. So she doesn't say that it's her story and she doesn't give details. She just says that in the end, he reconnects with this person from his past. And isn't that nice? This is all like the first episode and a half, maybe. Then we get to the main part. I started watching this because it's sitting on iQIYI in the Adorable Children collection. And I was like, sure, I'm up for adorable kids. Why not? You see a scene, both of them get phone calls and they're like, what? And they come running. And there's this adorable little munchkin standing on a sidewalk looking sad with his little suitcase and a lawyer standing with him. And they both run up and they're like, you. And the kid goes, Godfather, Auntie.
Classic.
So his best friend married her sister. They're going through a divorce now and they don't want to fight in front of the kid and like make the kid's life miserable. So they've sent him off to live with his godfather. And Auntie's like, hey, I'm his aunt. Why is he not living with me? And the sister's like, well, you eat ramen every day and you can barely pay your rent. He is financially stable, so we're sending our kid there, but please also help, So, stuff happens. Everybody can see that these two people should be together, and he is in love with her. I mean, she saved his life. She's his lifesaver. Of course he's in love with her, right? And the older sister is like, she's right there. Like, just go for it. He's like, I gotta take my time. She's like, what? It's been a year. Like, the kid is constantly like, hey, Auntie, can you come over and make me some eggs? Because I only like them the way you make them. And then, of course, ultimately, dude is like, you know what would work? I have a spare bedroom in my house. Oh, and if you moved in, we could watch the kid together. And she's like, well, it just makes sense, logic. So, yeah. So we've also got a really cute side couple with the older sister. Dude's other best friend is a model. he does some work for the advertising company. Dude's best friend, like other best friend, not the married one, but this other best friend, has been in love with his best friend's big sister for, since they were kids. And she's like, you're like my little brother, but they're like 2 years age difference or something. And now she sees him as a model and he's like a man. And she's like, wow, you're a very attractive man. And so he's doing his thing. He's like, look at me like a man now. And she's like, nah, all right. I can stand to blow off some steam with a pretty model. Why not? So there's lots of, and there's like it's very low stakes. So like there's a thing going on with his bakery, which is like there's 4 handsome young men who work in the bakery and are just ridiculous together, and it's quite enjoyable, that part. And somebody is stealing his, like, he creates these new desserts and he has a notebook where he keeps all this stuff, and this franchise debuted his new dessert the same day that he did. And so now we have to find out how that's happening and why that's happening, and get all of the customers back at the bakery kind of thing. So that's like, it's very low stakes, but it's very cute. They both clearly like each other, but they haven't quite made the confessions happen yet. Like it's very, he teases her like, oh, well, I'm going to take a shower. And she's like, I'm looking after the kid. And he's like, well, I'm just going to get stripped down right now. And she's like, no. But then she leaves and she's imagining in her head that he's like ripping off his t-shirt in front of her and stuff. So like, it's just cute. It's very goofy and cute. And the kid is freaking adorable. Aishii did not lie. He is an adorable child. So it's hitting all those C-drama rom-com
beats that you're looking
like
for.
You said, Natalia, you know where it's going.
Yeah.
But the story, is the point, right? How we get there is the point on this one. So, and I'm enjoying it. And it's only 16, so they don't have time to like, go off the rails and do something really super dumb, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Never know.
Never know, though.
It's true. It's true. All right, now it's time for our speed rounds. So we just do a little quick, just what else we've been watching real quick before we sign off. So Sky, what else have we been watching real quick?
So I only have a few this time. Midnight Studio. I've only watched one episode, so I won't get into it very much at all, but essentially it centers around a character that machinations happen, and he has kind of this magical camera that deceased people come to this studio at midnight if they really truly kind of fight for it, if they really really desire it, and they are able to kind of a last wish type situation, have this final picture, usually kind of in order to fulfill a final wish. So I've only watched one episode, but I will say it made me cry. So like it is and then I saw the second episode is going to involve a kid. And it's going to probably be really sad. So like it's one of those tearjerker touching situations. I really like it so far. I will say, still you have the main character guy, and then he kind of has 2 assistants that one of them seemingly has kind of like supernatural powers, like he's able to kind of have like energy out of his hand. It's kind of interesting. And then another, and I think he's a ghost too. And then there's like, and then he has an assistant that is a ghost, and that guy is from Alchemy of Souls and like literally every other show. Like he's in everything.
He's good.
He's everywhere. And then the main gal like shows up, and you kind of saw at the very beginning, you saw her like her face anyway on someone from way in the past. So it's like, ooh, what's going on with that? Don't know. But what's cool is how they show the studio looks really neat, like as far as it has sections kind of for each season that you pass down this hall in order for the spirits to come. So like, it's really cool. It's gonna be fun, but like sad. It's gonna be sad every time, but it is very hijinks too. So like, oh, in order to fulfill this wish, we better, you know, somehow get this person here in order to talk to this dead person. So like, it's a whole thing. Then I watched a few episodes of My Demon. I'm trying to get, you know, like, but I keep getting distracted. I've actually really enjoyed it, but like, I keep having to watch stuff like for the podcast and everything else. So like, anyway, but I'm really having a fun time. Had to watch the rest of Marry My Husband. We did an entire live stream on that. Natalia and I did. So like,
it was fun.
Go check that out.
Check it out.
If you want our thoughts on Marry My Husband, we talked all about it on there. I've watched snippets of a lot of random shows, but like, you guys don't care about that. But like, and just as a passing note, I did watch the movie Marry My Dead Body. Natalia did as well. We kind of talked about it a little bit together. But it was a show, like it was a movie.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
It was very silly too. Very, very silly. But so part of the reason I'm even bringing it up though is like they're going to be making a sequel related movie too, it sounds like, so that's gonna be but I really like it was very hijinksy, but like also kind of the it was heartwarming, like it ended up being heartwarming and stuff, so like it is on Netflix, so like if you're curious about that one.
I watched the first few scenes of it or whatever.
No, you gotta keep going. Trust me when I say
I stopped for something else and just haven't got back to it, but I really like that he like, you know, the whole premise is like you marry somebody who's dead so that they can be happy or whatever. And he's like, but I'm a man. And the grandma's like,
I don't care.
What do you
matter?
What are you, like, prejudice? Like, what are you, gay people can be happy in the afterlife too, man. Like, just chill out.
It was the second half was a lot more moving than I expected it to be. Like, to be fair, but little warning: Aaron Yen jump scare. He is in there. He is in there. Yeah. So just take that
so that's all
as it will. Take that as it will.
So that's pretty much it. Like I said, I've had my fingers in a lot of random dramas that I won't talk about now, but that was the rest of my roundup. I did spend a lot of time with Marry My Husband, so we could do that live stream. So how about you, Natalia?
Okay, so I finished the drama Ideal Husband. It's a J drama that's on Viki. Not Ideal Husband, Ideal Boyfriend, sorry. It's on Viki. It's basically like a 30-year-old woman thinks she's about to get proposed to, but her boyfriend dumps her instead, and then she runs into a guy who looks exactly like her like first love from high school, and she like asks him to pretend to be her boyfriend. Anyway, it was fine. It was fine, you know, like it was exactly what you would expect from that type of it was fine. There was nothing particularly fantastic or terrible about it. It was watchable. It was fine. It was fine. I watched the entirety of the C-drama Derailment because it starred the same male actor as Everyone Loves Me, and I'm one of those, like Sky can attest, she's this way as well. If you liked an actor in one thing, you'll go check them out in another thing. So I watched it, and I enjoyed it, but...
And I've mentioned Derailment before.
Yeah, Sky's been watching it.
Have you guys talked about Derailment? I have talked about Derailment before.
Basically, a rich girl is transported into the past in an alternate timeline where she's not rich, and then while trying to figure out the sci-fi machinations that made that happen, she also spends a lot of time learning cosmetology, which I personally felt didn't really add that much to the story but it is what it is. Like, we spent a lot of time on cosmetology, okay?
Yeah, I was about to say, the reason we're bringing that up is a lot of focus was put on that.
Listen, they had a really interesting premise involving, like, really interesting sci-fi mystery murders were happening and all, but then it would have to take a break to spend 3 episodes on, like, a makeup technique competition. And I'd be like, okay, focus in, people. Like,
and then they try to really get you to care about the cosmetology, like,
and I'm just like,
stuff,
I get that it's like she's achieving her newfound dream of cosmetology, which is fantastic. I'm very happy for her, but people are dying. Get it together. Anyway, I did actually enjoy it. I thought it was good. Like, it was, besides, like, it could have been
the original story was written by Priest, so that's like another like level of like, because it was, does some interesting sci-fi stuff. So.
It was 30 episodes. It could have been 24. You know what I mean? It was one of those. But like, I did enjoy it. I did. Okay. I'll just quickly go through because I have 2 bookends that need to go together. I've been watching Beauty Newbie, which is the Thai remake of My Ideas Gang of Beauty. It is not a shot-for-shot remake. They're actually putting like fun little twists on it. I'm really genuinely enjoying it quite a bit. I think that it's like the casting is fantastic and it's really great. I'm almost finished watching the very bizarre fantasy cop BL, The Sign. I don't know what...
It looked fascinating.
It is, okay? I don't know what crack the writers were smoking when they came up with this. But this is a wild show, okay? It's wild. It's about, like, 2 cops who may have been mystical creatures in their past life, and they're investigating these series of murders, but also there's another dude who might be evil, and, like, it's just... And they do be doing stuff together, and I'm just like, okay. It's apparently adapted from a novel. The show is something else. Okay, it's 12 episodes.
Is it pretty riveting?
It is, but at the same time, I'm like, I need a break. This is too crazy for old Natalia. I'm gonna be real. Like, I need a little break. Like, but it seemed like everyone who I know who's watched it has like genuinely enjoyed it, but been like, damn, this show's crazy. And like, I agree, that show's crazy. Like, I remember when the preview came out, and I immediately sent it to Sky, and I was like, check out this fucking preview. What is this show?
Like, it looked insane.
It is insane. I do believe it. All but the last episode are on YouTube, I think. And the last episode you gotta find for yourself. I've been keeping up with the J-drama Sugar Sugar Honey, which is fine. It's the one about, like, the ex-runner who, after an injury, goes to work at a hotel, and then there's a patissiere. And I think I'd like it more if she and the patissiere had any chemistry whatsoever. But, like... It's one of those where it's like the relationship moves like a little too fast, and you're like, this is too much.
Felt like you missed
I felt
a
like
couple
I
of
missed
steps there.
several steps in their relationship. But it's one of those where I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Why not? I'm really enjoying it. And I also did start 23.5, the GMMTV GL. I watched the first episode. Very cute. Very excited to keep watching more.
And we'll be talking about that
sometime. But no, I really enjoyed it. Okay, now here are my bookends, all right? So, after watching Everyone Loves Me, I wanted to check out the 2 leads in other things. And so I then found out that the lady lead, Julie, starred in a historical isekai, time slip isekai, not fantasy though, like that's the only fantasy thing that happens, called Scent of Time. It's a 30 episode. It was made by HBO and HBO Asia. I didn't know there was an HBO Asia, but anyway, it's not currently streaming anywhere, but I believe in you. Anyway, I watched it. It's 30 episodes. And I'm gonna, okay, this is my warning that I'm not gonna say exactly what happens, but you're being warned right now, okay? The first 27 episodes of this show, I was 100% riveted. I was invested. A woman, sure, like, her life goes to hell after she does some shitty stuff and she gets divorced by her, like, forcibly divorced by her husband. Her whole family gets exiled. She's being hunted down to be killed. And it starts with her, like, seeing her two remaining family members dying in front of her, like, dead in front of her. Like, everyone she ever loved is dead. And then she then dies. And then wakes up the night of her wedding. That she conned this guy into marrying her. And she's like, I'm going to be a better person. And I'm going to, like, change everything so that doesn't happen to me and my family. And so she then spends 27 episodes doing a whole bunch of machinations, like, you know, convincing her husband to, like, marry the woman he actually loves, like, getting a divorce on her terms so she can, like, go do whatever. And then she, like, you know, the rich dude in town who, they're in, like, an incense making town, that's where the scent comes from, like, falls for her, and, like, you know, blah blah blah, there's, like, a cute garden and everything. I'm riveted, okay? And then something happens in episode 27. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I want to warn y'all, I am so easygoing with dramas. I can watch bad dramas. I don't get bothered when they biff the ending. Like, I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, the rest of the drama was good. I don't care. This ending's kind of meh. This ending, they did something so egregious and so upsetting that I actually have been ranting about it for days. Sky can tell you, before we started recording, I was like, Amanda, I gotta tell you about this drama I just watched. I'm not gonna spoil it here, but just know those last 3 episodes were the most insulting 3 episodes to me, or like 2 or 3. Look, either the last 3 or the last 2 were so insulting to me.
To clarify, it's not like it's a scandalous, problematic thing. It's a story. It's like a story sin.
Yeah,
is what
happened, and it was like
storytelling.
So upsetting to me as a watcher that I was so disrespected by this show that they did this. Listen. I'm feeling my blood pressure rising as I think about it. It actually ruined the whole show for me. Like, I was
that you had enjoyed 27
I had enjoyed
episodes
27 episodes so much, and to have, so just know that you may feel an incandescent rage. Like, they could have just ended it at episode 27 and it would have been a better show. Okay, like, anyway, but I was like, I need to, like, redeem something about this drama. So I then looked up, this has a happy ending, the lead actors, the lead male actor from that show's work, and watched a show that he did called First Love. It's on iQIYI. Whereupon, it's a classic college C-drama rom-com, whereupon very much autistic, no social skills math genius falls for plucky, cute girl, okay? And I loved it. It was great. It was 24 episodes. I ate it up. It was stupid, and I loved it. So he has been redeemed in my eyes, because it wasn't his fault.
You didn't want to dislike.
Listen, I didn't want to, like, the actors did a really good job in Scent of Time. It was just the writers done fucked up. The writers did something so unbelievably awful in a storytelling Deus Ex Machina way that I was just like, I'm out. Like, I'm out. Okay, I gotta let it go, Natalia. You gotta let it go. Okay.
Well, and the reason we figured that she should mention, like, again, Natalia doesn't get bothered.
I don't get bothered by this.
By, like, things very often. Like, it is so rare. So it means, like, that's why I say it's a storytelling sin. Like,
yeah.
If it hacked you off that much, like, that's
all y'all are gonna be mad about it if you watch it. I am warning you.
It's like, the worst part is, it's like, besides that ending, this was such a good drama. Like, I was about to be like, damn.
Top of the list.
Damn. Like, this is so good. But, yeah, it ruined the drama for me. Anyway, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go now. I'm going to move on with my life. Okay?
You have warned everybody.
I have warned everyone that the first
You've
27
done your
episodes
civil
were
service.
absolutely fantastic. And then the end couple were just the most egregious
But
shit
hey,
I've ever seen.
at the moment, it's not on a legal streaming service anywho.
So it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But who knows? Who knows? It came out late 2023, so who knows when it'll appear somewhere.
Yeah.
True.
All right, Amanda, take us home. What else have you been watching real quick?
So, in anime land, still watching One Piece with my kid. We've finished the Skypiea arc. We've finished the G8 filler arc. Both fun, enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
We're, trucking along. Solo Leveling, which I think by the time this episode comes out, the final episode for season 1 will be out. We've read the whole book, so we're sort of watching and going, like, at the beginning of the season, we're like, do you think this is going to be all up until this point in the book, or up until, obviously they're not doing the whole book because there's a lot, right? So we think we figured out where they're going to cut it, but we shall see. It's been very enjoyable. We've enjoyed watching it. Still watching A Sign of Affection, which, again, also, I think the last episode for the first season will be out by the time this episode comes out. Mm-hmm. Very soft, very pretty and soft. Still watching Shady Job Family, the J-drama about a shady family doing jobs. Well, it's shady fake family. And I watched Reacher season 2 with my husband, so that's a good time. I mean, it's very violent, but it's very fun.
And also the main actor's a good dude. You love hearing he's such a good dude in real life. So like,
right? Like, so it's just, you feel good about enjoying his nonsense. So
it's like watching John Wick. It's like, oh, Keanu, like, just totally destroying people.
Exactly.
Isn't that adorable? Like, it's Keanu.
Did he just bury somebody alive in wet cement?
It doesn't. Listen.
Baby girl, that's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
He does not kill anybody that does not deserve it. That is all I'm going to say.
Exactly.
So, some of these people, you could even argue, get off light for the things that they have done. So, but I will say that Trigger, it is very violent, and there is, you don't always see all the violence on this show, but sometimes you do, and sometimes even just the talking about the torture or the things that other people have gone through is very disturbing. Like, the first season, I had to stop at one point and, like, get in the group chat and be like, has anybody watched this? Do these characters make it to the end? They do? Okay, good. Okay.
That's all I need to know.
Continue. Press play. Like, just because there's often women and children situations where you're like, these could be held against people. So, like, I don't need to, So, anyway. But it's fun. They're fun. I don't know. So, but that's it. That's it for me.
So anyway, that's it for us as a total. So thank you for listening to us. You can listen to us wherever podcasts can be found, but also we are on YouTube with video if you prefer the video podcast format. So if you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe, because as required by YouTube law to say. But you can also go to our website, certifiednoonas.com, where we have links to every single show that we've talked about that we have links for, and and time codes for anyone for interested in that sort of thing. And if you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednoonas. It's our little Patreon for our found family. They're our found family on the web. We think they're great. They get little extra mini episodes and a movie night every month, and we have a good time. So anyway, thank you for hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with another episode. And as always, wash your hands, wear a mask, and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.